Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Pride FT. The FT stands for Football Thoughts, and I am joined today by my illustrious co-host Bo, and we are going to talk about Pochettino just got hired officially as the manager of Chelsea FC. Bo, what's your thoughts?
Initial thoughts are I'm excited, definitely. I never thought I'd be at the point as a Chelsea fan that I'd be excited to hire, an ex Spurs manager in this
Ugh,
way.
we just got
But
forget about it. You know what I
I
mean?
know, every manager has been at a club before. You know what I mean? That you
Yep,
can't avoid that.
yep,
And also, in the context of the season we are still having or have just had, it's we needed. He will bring us to a level much higher than what we've experienced. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't care where he's from or where he's come from. I just care that he's going to make us better, and I believe he
Yeah.
will.
Well, we hope so. We
We
hope
hope
so.
so.
So, obviously he was at Tottenham, and then he was also at PSG, which he recently got fired. Was it? He did get fired, didn't he?
Hey, yeah, he was only there for a year.
Yeah.
He did
And he didn't.
actually win the title,
Yeah.
but then I think the next season they were runners up at
Right.
Liga.
Okay.
So a bit awkward. But so yeah, 5th of July 2022, they parted ways after the season had ended. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it was a bit.
So he's been out of work for a bit now, then, for nearly a year.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's from the 5th of July, then yeah, it's
Yeah.
been nearly a year.
So I think he'll be eager to get back into it, back into the swing of things, and really put his name on the club. What I'm worrying about is how he's going to get on with the owners. Do you think he'll be all right with the owners, with being that they see this long term plan? I'm sure they've talked it out beforehand,
Yeah,
but
that's a good question. I guess really he didn't get on very well with the hierarchy and the squad at Paris Saint Germain. But then again, no manager does.
no,
Tuchel famously didn't and got sacked pretty soon
yeah,
after being there. So no, I'm not worried. I guess I'm trying to see it as they have picked him out. We've had there was a lengthy amount of time between our last
a
permanent
long
manager
time.
and this
Yeah,
permanent manager. A period where we basically fucking tanked the league and we've been dreadful.
yep.
And they did
Thanks,
that.
Frank.
Yeah, and they did that because they wanted to make sure they spent the time and the resources to get the right bloke. So
Yeah,
in theory, it should be a match made in heaven, kind of. He's also, I mean, you got to remember as well that he's also, he worked within the kind of Spurs framework with Daniel Levy, for a long time and managed to get really good results out of that. So I don't think he's not like Conte where he's desperate for cash. He doesn't need to always
no,
have
no,
200 million spent on him every summer.
yeah,
Obviously, like any manager, I'm sure he'd like that. So, and obviously we can't do that every summer because we have to
yeah.
adhere to FFP, especially after our massive spending
Yeah.
spree.
What
So
massive spending spree? We haven't spent
yeah,
no money.
I haven't seen that on the records anywhere. No, I don't know what you're talking about. UEFA, I don't know what you mean. So yeah, I have a feeling that he'll probably be all right.
I'm
But
hoping so. I'm hoping so.
every manager is all right until they start losing in more games than they win. So
Yeah. And you brought up a good point in the PSG conversation where a lot of people over there got a lot of ego, but we have famously got some big egos ourselves. Not as big, not you're not talking Messi-esque, you're not talking Mbappe's, but we have got some bloody big egos there thinking they're fucking dog's bollocks. But do you think he can handle that now that he's been through the ringer with PSG? I think this will probably be a walk in the park now compared to them.
yeah, in theory, that's a very good point. Like Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. Imagine trying to make that work. That's impossible,
Oh,
right? Um,
mad.
Three players who mostly don't want to do a lot of donkey work, which is
Yeah,
fine because they are three of the most talented players in the world. But to make that a team must be is very hard. Um, and again, all of the other players as well who kind of just orbit around um, those three's kind of gravitational pull. It must have been very tough and probably for him a good learning experience to know what it feels like to manage
yeah,
players of such
definitely.
massive stature. We have no one
Yeah,
like that in the squad.
no,
Maybe, I mean, no, literally in terms of actual genuine talent
yeah,
and the kind of confidence and the ego that you get with having that. There is no one in our squad who comes with that amount of baggage. Obviously,
Not
we've
that
got
much. No,
not
we
that
have got a
much.
little bit.
I know. Well, I was going to say, obviously,
Yeah.
we've got some older players who've had long and successful careers.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling's, Romelu Lukaku is still floating about.
Yeah.
Are two that come to mind.
I'd
So
probably say Sterling's our worst, like, egotistical player, for how much he actually thinks, like, he's worth. If that makes sense. Like, even with Enzo Fernandez being absolutely brilliant, he just doesn't really have an ego. Well, from what I've seen, he doesn't. And Thiago Silva, who's absolutely goated, but he's one of the nicest blokes going. So it's like, I don't think we've got that level of ego, but I think maybe a few of them, i.e. Sterling, might cause a bit of issues.
It's a group of pro athletes who want to win and want to be the best in their position.
Of course, yeah.
And so they're all going to have egos. They're all going to have issues that they come with. From people who've said in the past, like, apparently, he can be quite feisty and charismatic at times. Like, he managed to get a bloody Spurs squad to the Champions League final, for God's sake. So he's clearly got something about him. I feel like he's obviously a bit of an older age profile than maybe who we were thinking about before, i.e. Nagelsmann. He's 51, which I actually...
This is not too old.
It's not too old, exactly. It's not too old and it's not too young. So maybe that kind of age is a kind of a perfect balance for our squad.
Maybe, yeah.
And himself also had a decent playing career. Played for some pretty big clubs, played for PSG himself, for example, and had a decent career. So he'll also have that, like, where Frank obviously has the career boost because he was a great player. He doesn't obviously have the managerial, whereas Pochettino never reached the heights of Lampard, but he has been a good player and he has been a good manager as well.
Yeah. I think it's a good move overall. I'm happy with it. I think. I mean, it's better than whatever we've just had this year was absolutely woeful. I'm just hoping they don't come in and he's saying the same shit in press conferences, and just like, we put all of our thing. What do they normally say? The boys gave everything.
Yeah, the boys gave everything.
Yeah, the boy. Like, I don't want to hear that, man. I want a bit of aggression. I want a bit of passion. And up and down that pitch cheering, because you could see that in, like, Graham Potter. He just couldn't give a fuck.
Well, Pochettino, again, if as Chelsea fans, if you rewind your head back to the Battle of the Bridge, which was an amazing game, an amazing fucking point of Premier League history. Him and that team were incredibly aggressive, incredibly worked up. They were literally flying about all over the pitch, making fouls. Literally about 6 players should have been sent off, but they weren't on the day. So he definitely has a bite about him. He's definitely somebody who, like, G's up his players for them to get aggressive and get ready to go into a battle. So hopefully he can inspire that in our players. And I'm really encouraged by the fact that most of the players that he had doing that at Spurs were all very young as well. Even further back as well, like Southampton in his first year in the Premier League. We think of Sadio Mane now as one of, like, the most established world-class wingers in the league. He brought Sadio Mane to the levels that he got to, and Sadio Mane was obviously then signed by Liverpool and had a fantastic...
People seem to forget about that, don't they?
Yeah, and then obviously you've got Harry Kane, who was literally just like a 20, 21-year-old just floating about on loans
box
to
average.
different teams. Seemingly average. And then he managed to turn him into the best Premier League striker that maybe we'll ever see with the amount of goals he's on record. He's on track to beat the Premier League goal scoring record. And then, Heung-min Son, of course, Dele Alli, he got a 17-goal season out of Dele Alli, for God's sake. And loads, Kyle Walker, Danny Rose, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, like Moussa Dembele, bloody Mamadou Sissoko. You know what I mean? Like, he managed to get a tune out of so many players who have since gone on to, apart from maybe Kane and Son, have since, and Walker, and Mane, have since gone on to not really never really reached the peak that they found under him. And that's incredibly exciting when you consider the profile of players that we've got at the club.
I was going to say, like, the amount of potential, the potential we got is mental. I mean, look at the likes of Mudryk, man. Like, if he can if we can get the potential out of Mudryk with flying, that's another Hazard in our pocket, because he is ridiculously talented. I think he just needs someone to draw it out. So overall, are you happy?
Yeah, definitely. As I said earlier on, I never thought I'd get here. I like his general style of play. He loves he loves a 4-2-3-1. I'm sure he'll change it up. He loves aggressive,
Yeah,
attacking, quick, football. I can get behind that. I want
which
to
we
see
all
that.
like to
We
see.
all see
Yeah,
that exactly. Yeah. So and if we can bring the potential out of some of the young stars we've got, our Maduekes, our Mudriks, our Enzos, well,
yeah,
so many really, Andre Santos, bloody David
yeah.
Fofana, then we could, and even if he doesn't win us loads, I feel like he's going to bring us to a place where we are ready to take the next step to
Hopefully,
solidify as a world
yeah,
class team and a world class
yeah.
squad. So
Again,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty buzzing. I'm pretty buzzing.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. I think, as you said, like I thought I would never be saying this about Pochettino because even before all of this like happened, when we were talking about Potter leaving, I was so firmly like I don't really want Pochettino at all. But the further it's gone, it's like, you know what, anything to do at this moment. And Pochettino, as you said, isn't a bad manager. It's just that he did manage the enemy.
Yeah.
but we got forgive that, and hopefully he can draw the potential out of these young players. So yeah, that's it for this sort of little video, just to recap Pochettino. What is your thoughts, guys? Leave us comments down below. Are you happy? Are you happy? I
Hmm.
mean, I'm bloody hoping he's going to be a good manager, and he's got some good ideas up in that old brain of his. So we'll catch you in the next one, and as always,
Not
the
the chair.
Chels.